I was delighted to be asked to speak at this event. The signing of the 1922 Constitution was a hugely significant moment in Irish history. And on a personal note, a significant moment in my own family history. My grandfather, Edward Millington Stevens, known as Ned, was secretary to the Constitution Committee. My grandmother, Lillo Stevens, kept a diary throughout this time, and I recently received a copy of the entries for 1922, which fortunately have survived. I should explain that the diaries for earlier years did not survive. A polite letter dated 15th November 1920 from the office of Police Advisor, Dublin Castle, sent to my grandmother, admitted that 2 of her diaries had been received with other papers from raids in various places in October 1920. The letter then went on to sincerely apologize for their loss. What very much strikes me from reading the diaries for 1922 is the juxtaposition of day-to-day family life with my grandfather's work on the Constitution against the background of the Civil War. Furthermore, the diaries record that whilst Ned Stevens was secretary to the committee, he remained husband to Lillo and father to Dennis, Brandon, and Anne. I would like to read out some of the diary entries that are particularly striking. They are in an abbreviated form. Friday, 6th January, rain, tea at Mrs. Kellett's, committee formed to bring both parties together. Saturday, 7th of January, treaty ratified by a majority of 7. Saturday, 14th of January, made cakes. Moll took Enid and self to cottage. Southern Parliament met and ratified treaty and appointed provisional government. Collins, Lynch, Duggan, O'Higgins, Hogan, McGrath. Monday, 16th of January, Dublin Castle taken over by provisional government. Wednesday, 25th of January, Darrell Figgis came and asked Ned to act as secretary to committee to draw up constitution. Thursday, 26th of January, Ned started work at Shelburne Hotel. Lunch with Miss Bennett, class at Harold's Cross. Wednesday, the 1st of February, IRA took over Beggars Bush Barracks. Thursday, 2nd of February, children's party for Dennis. All seemed to enjoy it. Thursday, 29th of June, firing continued all day. Houses at end of terrace, woodyard back of Square House, corner of Leeson Street, and annex occupied by irregulars. Took Brandon to cottage by Dundrum. Friday, 30th June, 4 courts fell. Explosion at 12 o'clock. Mine fired by irregulars. Records and all buildings destroyed. Burnt all night. Neverson to lunch. Sunday, 2nd of July. Leaders refused terms. 11 Harcourt Terrace, that's the house that my grandparents lived in, attacked and all irregulars driven out of this area. Very upset. Fought it all day, beastly to Ned, got through. Friday, 14th of July, children and Phoebe went to England. Mick took supreme command. Thursday, 20th July, spent the night at Silchester. Girl killed in Rialto ambush. Tea at Mrs. Shan's, made jam. Frank's house raided. Monday, 28th of August, Michael Collins buried. 14 carriages of wreaths, motored up from Glanmar. Friday, the 15th of September, bad night, attacks on Portobello and Wellington, Lamb Bank raided, Mitchell engaged Shelia, Ned of Mitchell's, Dennis got bad cold and head. So, coming back to the present, we are here to celebrate the centenary of the 1922 Constitution. This document was the culmination of months of preparation, negotiation, and consideration. The efforts involved in agreeing the principles to include in this document is not to be underestimated. We remember the 1922 Constitution and we remember the names of the committee members and other prominent individuals at the time who were motivated by a political desire for a seismic shift to independence. But I want to end on a note which is, I think, reflected in my grandmother's diary, that the backdrop of violence and turmoil at that time threaded through the domestic life, not only of my family, but of all those who lived through this period in our history. In response to that violence, the Constitution can be seen as a piece of political technology to create a new state, which was based on the rule of law and on principles of democracy. Thank you for listening.